Hey friends, and welcome back to Movies I Watched This Week. However, this is not movies I watched this week. This is something totally different and totally brand new. So grab a drink and get comfortable, because today we're ranking my best friend's top 4. Let's just get right into it. Like I said previously, my name is Paige. Welcome to Dry Gin Martini. Typically, what we do in these videos is I recap the 4 or however many movies I watched the previous week, and I rate, review, yap about them to you. I talk about the flavor of the week and what influenced me to watch these movies, whether it was a hot man, or if it was a certain director, or if it was an idea or a concept or a theme. This week we're doing something very different, not only because I haven't really watched any movies or enough that I feel like it's juicy enough for a video, but Sunday, yesterday, because I'm filming this the day of course, was my best friend's birthday, my best friend Maddie. We've been friends since we were freshmen in high school. We are now 23, okay? And I wanted to do something a little bit different, change pace, not feel so trapped in my own YouTube channel, because I'm the one that makes it, but it just kind of felt like a person. So I'm going to be ranking her top 4 favorite movies. I'd like to start by saying a few words about Madeline, my best friend. First being, we are very different when it comes to consuming media. Maddie is a creature of habit. She likes to watch the same things, or she doesn't really watch things at all, actually. Like, she's not going to sit down and start a new TV show or really even watch an old TV show. She likes to scroll on her phone, which all the power to her. The movies, however, that she does watch, she's a creature of habit and she'll watch the same ones over and over again. Very similar to me. Very different in the way that she would probably not put on a new movie, really ever. So her top 4 favorite movies we will be ranking and rating and talking a little bit about today. They all kind of fall into the camp of comedy. She's a very funny girl, so that makes sense for her. The last thing I would ever imagine is like Maddie sitting down for like a 3-hour dramatic movie. That just seems like hell for her. So that's a little bit about my best friend. We met in high school. We were freshmen. We met at a football game. She thought I was really loud and obnoxious, and I thought she was really quiet and shy. And I was like, I should be friends with this girl. She wanted nothing to do with me, and then we ended up going to homecoming together in the same group and have been friends ever since. But that's a little bit on my best friend Maddie for you. Okay, now let's get into her top 4 favorite movies. Yes, I've seen them all. Let's just get into it. The first movie on Maddie's list is a classic from 2012. A classic comedy musical production known as Pitch Perfect. Came out in 2012, was directed by Jason Moore. If you, at this point in your life, I'm assuming we're the same age. I don't know who's watching this. Hey, what's up? Have you seen Pitch Perfect? I'm assuming yes. Everyone in my life that I know has seen this movie. We all frequently listen to the soundtrack, similarly the way that we frequently listen to Hamilton. So just to have met somebody who's never watched Pitch Perfect, for me, I'd assume that'd be like meeting a messiah. I don't know. It's just really interesting when you think of like huge cultural moments like the Trebles finale or the riff off, and someone doesn't maybe know the words. That's really cool to me. So let's get into it as if you've never seen this movie, okay? College student Becca knows she doesn't want to be a part of a clique, but that's exactly where she finds herself arriving at her new school. Thrust amongst the mean girls, nice gals, and just plain weird gals, Becca finds the only thing that they have in common is how well they sing together. She takes the women of the group out of their comfort zone of traditional arrangements and into a world of amazing harmonic combinations in a fight to the top of musical competitors. Okay, I flubbed that last line, but we're not even going to talk about it. Perfect came out in 2012, and I feel like I saw this in the movie theater. I feel like this was a theater-going experience, probably with my sister and my mother. If not, I can't remember the first time I saw this movie, just that it quite literally changed my life. And had I not attended freshman year of college during COVID, I can totally see myself joining an a cappella group. It just seems like a shit ton of fun, honestly. In this cast, we have Anna Kendrick, Brittany Snow, Anna Camp, Rebel Wilson, Easter Dean, Skylar Astin, Ben Platt, Adam Devine. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of the names here, but this was my first introduction to Ben Platt. Now, being the Broadway lady that I am at my age now, I can't believe this was my first time seeing Ben Platt. But more importantly, Ben Platt is in theater camp, okay, which is another great movie, which is arguably probably one of the best, like, theatrical interpretations of, like, a theatrical movie ever, but we don't gotta get into Theater Game today. We're talking Pitch Perfect. So, I love Pitch Perfect for many reasons. There's song. There's a hot guy who works at a record store. So basically, the story follows Anna Kendrick. She goes to college at Barden University, okay? You're like boutique, wealthy college that is made up. And she wants to be a DJ. She doesn't want to go to college, but her dad's a professor, and I think he gets like a discount on tuition or something, and so she goes. And her dorm is like giant and very nice and very white and like furnished well, like it's a nice university. And so she gets to the college and she walks around the, what would you call that? Like festival of things? I don't know. It's like all these people tabling for their various clubs. It's like a fair, like a club fair. And she stumbles upon the Barden Bellas and they're like, can you sing? We need people for the Barden Bellas. She doesn't really give two fucks. So the preface in the beginning of the movie shows you the Barden Bellas performing at the final competition, where my poor dear Anna Camp throws up all over the place and ruins her chances of winning. So she's a little bit bitter, and now she has this fire under her ass of like, we need to come back next year and be even better. Except all the seniors, all the good people, they're gone. We need to recruit new people. And so we get this like coalition of rando weird individuals who all stumble upon each other joining this a cappella group. And we get that through the amazing, perfectly edited audition sequence featuring McLovin of Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson. What part do you want to do? I'll start singing and you do the backup vocals. Ready? Okay. Here's the thing, we started out friends. It was cool, but it was out. Yeah. Since you've been gone. Adam Devine as Bumper Allen is just probably one of the greatest characters ever written in a movie. Like, there's so many aspects of this film that are great. There's so many one-liners. When I think of a comedy, Pitch Perfect comes to mind immediately. I'm not talking about the other ones because I don't really care for them like I care for the first one. Like, love Haley Steinfeld, but when she came in singing Flashlight during the riff off, I was like, and what? Are we supposed to know your song that you wrote? Pitch Perfect is an amalgamation of humor, song, dance, raunchiness. Like, it's just funny. And it's not ever, like, gross sexual innuendos. Everything about this movie is funny. And the different characters coming together for the common good of winning this a cappella competition, this collegiate a cappella competition hosted by Elizabeth Banks, is fucking phenomenal. I have to think, like, Ben Platt when he doesn't get invited to the party and he's just listening, singing in his room, and it's so sad, but he saves the day because he comes in with, I've got the magic in me. This makes perfect sense that it would be Maddie's top movie, that it would be her favorite movie, and the soundtrack, it's the soundtrack to our lives, as Kid Cudi said. But something to consider is that I can't find it for free on any streaming platform, so what the fuck is the deal with that? Because I'm not paying $3.99 for that. Also, we should have a whole separate video on if you pay for a streaming platform, if you pay a monthly fee for a streaming platform, there should be no reason that you have to pay to rent a movie for 24 hours. Okay? That's like if I had a Redbox, like, movie thing in my home and had to pay $3.99 to have the movies that I technically am paying to own at that moment in time. Okay? It's stupid. Next movie on her list, another comedy, another great comedy, 22 Jump Street. Yeah, take a second and clap. She's got great taste. 2 years after the humor, the treat that is Pitch Perfect, came 22 Jump Street, directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, 21 Jump Street was a TV show with Johnny Depp in the 80s, I want to say. I'm not going to fact check. I don't feel like it. My computer's going to blow up in my lap if I open another tab. And then, for some reason, they made 21 Jump Street the movie with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. A few years later, it was such a fucking hit that they were like, let's make 22 Jump Street. Now, 22 Jump Street, 1,000 times funnier than the first. The first one's really funny because you have the two of them essentially go back to high school undercover to find the supplier and the dealer of this drug ring. And you have Dave Franco, who's absolutely hilarious. And they kind of swap roles. Like, Channing Tatum was super popular in high school, and Jonah Hill was a bit of a loser. But when they go back, Channing Tatum is a loser, and Jonah Hill becomes super popular. And it's really funny. Again, Brie Larson's in it, and she's incredible. There's so many one-liners. They're doing a production of Peter Pan. Like, it's great. That's where you get the line where it's like, I don't want to go to prison. You know what happens to guys like me in prison? It rhymes with grape. Okay? That movie's great. The second one where they go to college is 10 times better. And let me tell you why. Because you have Wyatt Russell, Jimmy Tatro. Jimmy Tatro, I grew up watching. Like, I remember watching him on American Vandal on Netflix, like, with the poop. But also just, like, Real Bros of Simi Valley and all these other things. He's in theater camp. Most of the greatest actors of our time, yeah, they were probably in theater camp. Anyway, 22 Jump Street's so much better because they go to college. And they go to college, and the roles are flipped again. So Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, they have this, like, great, you know, first 21 Jump Street task. I don't even know what you would call it. Their mission of, like, catching it. Yeah, it goes swell. So they're like, we're going to do it again. And they move across the street, which is why it's 22 Jump Street. And it's just really funny, and it's, like, super great comedy. It's really great comedy. That's where you also get the, my name's Jeff. That was, like, a meme for, like, 5 fucking years. When they go to college, Channing Tatum becomes, you know, the football star that he's destined to be, and he hits it off with Jimmy Tatro and Wyatt Russell, and they become, like, frat bros like this. Jonah Hill kind of falls into the camp of, like, artsy, poetic weirdo because all of his motivation, again, lies in a girl. So the first one is Brie Larson. The second one is Amber Stevens-West. And you find out later that that's actually Ice Cube's daughter, and so it's this whole ordeal. But what's so great about this movie is the slam poetry, okay? Slam poetry! Yelling. Angry. Waving my hands a lot. And if you scroll down a little bit, you get the Jesus cried, runaway bride. Julia Roberts. Julia Rob. Hurts. And it's just absolutely hilarious. But that doesn't even scratch the surface of the best part of the movie, which is the second half when they go to spring break, and there is this, like, drug buy shootout on the beach. Let me read you the description, if you haven't seen this. And the tagline is, they're not 21 anymore, which, in my mind, brilliant. Through high school, twice, big changes are in store for Officers Schmid and Janko as they go deep undercover at a local college. But when Janko meets a kindred spirit on the football team, and Schmid infiltrates the bohemian art major scene, they begin to question their partnership. Now they don't have to just crack the case. They have to figure out if they can mature in the relationship. Because there is this really funny arc of them, like, going their separate ways, like a breakup, and, like, being lost without each other and having to come back together to, like, save the day, which is really funny. Now they don't have to just crack the case. They have to figure out how they can have a mature relationship. If these two overgrown adolescents can grow from freshmen into real men, college might be the best thing that ever happened to them. So it's very funny and it's very beautiful. Now, in line with Pitch Perfect, like, if we're talking something I'm going to go back and rewatch, it's Pitch Perfect. However, thinking about 22 Jump Street in this moment in time is making me want to put it on. It's so fucking funny. So right now, I'm going to have Pitch Perfect at number 1. I feel like 22 Jump Street is going to have to be number 3 because I'm just actually, I don't know. Let's get into the next one that also has Channing Tatum in a younger fashion, and it is also one of the most devastating movies of all time, Dear John. Okay, Dear John came out in 2010, and my family and I used to go to the Outer Banks every other year as, like, a huge family vacation, and I have a vivid memory of them putting Dear John on. All the girls were sitting in the screening room, and we were going to watch Dear John, and I remember it being so devastatingly sad that I left the room. It was just emotionally a lot for me. Now, this makes sense as a favorite movie for Maddie because Maddie's a romantic. Maddie is an old-fashioned romantic. Maddie wants, like, to meet a wonderful, attractive, driven man who she was friends with first, and then they slowly unfold into a beautiful, like, rom-com story. So Dear John makes sense, but it's also incredibly fucking devastating. And I don't know why. Like, if I wanted to watch a romance movie, I would probably put on something sad, but Dear John is just like a whole nother level of sad. Like, The Notebook is sad, but it's also more beautiful, the reminiscing and like love story that happens and evolves over quite literally decades. However, if we want to get into the Notebook discourse about like, would I actually take Noah back after all of that stuff? Probably not, but we can talk about that another time. So let's get right into Dear John, directed by Lasse Hallström. This is, of course, a Nicholas Sparks novel because it's devastating and he loves to deliver sorrow and agony to women across the globe in the form of romantic cinema. So, Dear John, love brought them together. Will fate tear them apart? While Sergeant John Tyree is home on 2 weeks leave from Germany, he meets Savannah after he dives into the ocean to retrieve Savannah's purse that had fallen off the pier. John eventually falls in love with Savannah, who promises to write him until he returns overseas. Now, sounds really great, doesn't it? Sounds really great until you watch it and then you're engulfed in tears and snot's coming out of your nose and dripping into your mouth. Now, Channing Tatum is like, if Maddie had to pick a celebrity crush, like one and only, it would be Channing Tatum. I don't even know if she's ever even seen Step Up. Maddie, if you're watching this, I'm going to recommend that you watch that because he dances and he's in a wife beater and it's hot, and it was with his first wife, Jenna Dewan. Okay, so the two of them fall in love in a short 2 weeks, because who wouldn't fall in love with Amanda Seyfried and who wouldn't fall in love with Channing Tatum in a short 2 weeks after he catches your purse, dives into the water, and saves it from going off the pier? Obviously, I would fall in love too. And I actually, one time in a coffee shop, somebody came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, I removed my headphones, and they said, "I'm so sorry, I just need to tell you look like Amanda Seyfried." And then they walked away. And I think about that all the time because my favorite movie is Jennifer's Body. This isn't about me, but, you know, in the reboot, if they need, like, somebody to play a different version of Needy or, like, I don't know, I'm here. I'm just putting that out there. Putting out those feelers for you. So they fall in love. Obviously, he's in the military. He's going to have to go back. And so the beginning starts with, like, a voiceover of him talking about Afghanistan and all of this other stuff. And then they meet. They spend their 2 weeks together. And they, like, get to know everything about each other. And they're like, we're going to write each other letters because we're in love. And then when you come back, we'll be together. So it kind of flip-flops between the two of them writing each other love letters, which is such a beautiful way to, like, show the passing of time as two people are evolving, yet trying to give each other every morsel of information that's going on in their lives. So when they reconnect, it's like they didn't spend a day apart. I just find that to be the most romantic and beautiful thing ever. But what ends up happening is that over the 2 years, like, where they're writing each other letters because John has to go back longer because 9/11 happens, Savannah writes John a physical Dear John letter where she breaks up with him and is like, I can't really do this anymore. I'm with Tim, and Tim and I are engaged. Tim and I are engaged. And then in 2003, John is shot in Afghanistan and he's encouraged to return home, but he re-enlists for a second time. 4 years pass and John finds out that his dad has a stroke. Now there's like plot that happens earlier on where he is like very close with his father. Savannah at one point is like, I think your dad might have autism like Tim's son, and like that has a little bit of strife between the two of them, but basically his father passes away. Okay, so John's dad dies, and then you find out that the voiceover in the beginning was actually a letter written to him, and so he comes home for the funeral, obviously. And after the funeral, John visits Savannah and finds out that she married Tim. Now, if you want to experience heartbreak, if you want to know what it feels like to get punched in your stomach and have your organs fall out of your throat, watch that for the first time. Watch that for the first time with no knowledge at 8 years old. I think that's when I laughed. I was like, what's the point of giving your everything and giving your all to somebody if they're just gonna leave you? John's dad dies and he comes home and like finds out all of this bad shit, and then Savannah's like, oh, by the way, my dreams of opening like a writing camp for people with autism has to be put on pause because Tim has lymphoma, is going to die. And so John basically like donates his father's coin collection so that he can get help with treatment, but Tim ends up dying 2 months into treatment, and the film kind of just ends with John, like, who's now no longer in the military, like, comes home to, and they see each other, and they run up to each other and hug each other. Okay, now our last and final movie on Maddie's top 4, arguably, probably one of like, the greatest movies of all time. I mean, like, if you were to ask me The Godfather or Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. It's Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. It just is. And that came out in 2011. So what Maddie has is this thing called interest in the 2010s when it comes to movies. I think we can all agree, maybe not all, but most, that like that time of 2010 to 2019, so many good, lighthearted comedy movies, so many good dramas, so many good romances, just so many good everything, okay? What a time to be alive. And then COVID happened and the world ended and we're all just here in hell together. I'm totally kidding. That was a joke. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. Now, another friend of mine, Kate, she's a big fan of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I believe it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days that she knows from memory. And one time when we were on a plane with one another, she told me the entire plot, like in chronological order, as if she was reading the script to me aloud. And so I just, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it's a pretty big deal in this house. When we were younger, the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid that came out, also in the Outer Banks on a trip, I think my cousins and I did the audition sequence like 100 times over and over again. We would just replay it on the TV. The turn around, never know that I am, everybody that I see the look at you. Turn around, and I need you now, tonight. And I need you now, we'll be holding on forever. Okay, so that's not in this one. This one is Wimpy Greg Heffley, now in 7th grade, thinks he has it all together. He mastered middle school and gotten rid of the cheese touch. However, Greg's older brother Roderick is itching to cut him down to size. He gets the perfect opportunity when his mother tries to force the boys to bond. Roderick may be Greg's chief tormentor, but he feels his constant pranks are just what his brother needs to prepare him for life's hard knocks. So what I remember from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules is the iconic party scene. So the parents go out of town for, I literally think, a day, which I did the same thing in high school. My parents went out of town for one day and I had a party and it was like the end of the world. My favorite bit of Roderick Rules is the party scene because Fregley, oh my god, not Fregley. I fucking love Fregley. I love Fregley. Greg and Rowley get locked in the basement because they're going to have this party. And then obviously they escape. And then you have the scene where it's like, the door. The what? Did you check the D-O-R-E? The what? The door. Like, it's just so fucking funny. And also what's great is that Roderick is hot. I had a crush on Roderick. Roderick falls into my type of, like, my young blood rock star, drinks hot coffee on a hot summer day, chain smokes cigarette vibe. Like, Roderick's really hot. But similarly, like, there's something about family comedy movies that are made for adults that I just love. Because if kids watch this, yeah, they're gonna think it's funny. They're gonna laugh. They're gonna be like, haha, Fregley's weird. But if you're an adult watching this, you're like, I understand every single point of view. The mother, the significantly younger brother who gets like a cookie stuck in the DVD machine. I think that's in Dog Days though. Ooh, I'm getting out of myself. The dad's hilarious. Roderick is just so funny. What does he call somebody? Like a fat little hippo or something? He's just hilarious. He lives in the attic and his band Loaded Diaper plays in the garage. And then at the end of Roderick Rules, there is a talent show which he is not allowed to perform in because he threw the party and lied to his parents. And they documented the whole thing on like the family camcorder. Oh, what a big mistake. Rookie mistake, Roderick. But what I love so much is at the end, Patty Farrell, Patty as a fatty, has a face just like a ratty. Yes, Patty Farrell, who was on the wrestling team with the braids and the braces. She sings a beautiful song. And Roderick cries. If you've ever seen that meme where like a guy sitting in the audience like that's Roderick at the end of Roderick Rules. And then he does get to go on and play and it's pretty fucking awesome, but the viral moment that everybody ends up watching is his mother dancing. So that's a little bit of Roderick Rules for you. I fucking love Roderick Rules and it's so good. And Roderick was in Oppenheimer and he's also in the 100 if you've never watched it, and Greg now makes music and I don't know what Rowley does. We have Pitch Perfect, we have 22 Jump Street, Dear John, and Roderick Rules. From an opinionated, educated point of view, I'm going to tell you my ranking right now. And the ranking is not one movie's better than the other, one movie's more well written than the other, one movie is better produced than another. None of that. It's simply subjective and it's simply My opinion! Okay. So, firstly, I'm gonna, at the top of the list, obviously, I'm gonna have to put Pitch Perfect, because it has comedy, it has romance, it has song, it has dance, it has Anna Kendrick in the shower, it has Brittany Snow in the shower, it has Titanium, it has Skylar Astin, and Skylar Astin, like, as in Spring Awakening, Sky Astin. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know about Spring Awakening when I watched this movie. How sad is that? So, Pitch Perfect is gonna have to go numero uno. Ding! Winner, winner. It's just like, it has everything that you need. Do you need to cry? The ending, like that ending? Oh, such a feel-good movie moment. You'll want to cry. Do you want to laugh? No problem. Do you want to sing? There you go. I'm sure there's a sing-along version. Ooh. I don't know. It's all there. It's all there. And that's why Pitch Perfect is number one. Now, number two. Number two is kind of hard because, like, after speaking about the movies, I'm like, what could come after Pitch Perfect? But really, like, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules is going to have to go in there. It's just super fucking funny. It's a classic. It's for everybody. If you got to babysit tomorrow and you want to put something on the TV, everybody can watch Roderick Rules. Like, you really shouldn't have a problem of appropriateness. There might be some innuendos, but they should go over the kid's head. Super fucking hilarious. And the great thing about Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules is that there's so many more. There's the first one, there's Dog Days, there's also the books. I mean, I vividly remember reading Cabin Fever in a day in front of a fireplace because I got it at the Scholastic Book Fair. Help yourself. Following too far behind, number three. Now, after talking about Dear John, I'm like, should Dear John go third? Because, like, reminiscing on that plot did make me feel something. And, like, I just watched so many Nicholas Sparks movies and just, like, hopeless romantic movies growing up that there is a hole in my chest because I've never received any flattery from a man, let alone a letter or a promise that he'd be waiting for me for years. So I kind of now, after careful consideration, want to put Dear John at number three. Ooh. Because 22 Jump Street is great, don't get me wrong. And it being in fourth doesn't by any means... And it being in fourth place doesn't mean that it's bad at all. It just means that out of Maddie's top four, like, I would put 22 Jump Street in fourth. I think if you caught me on a different day, this list could be entirely different. But in the feeling and emotions harboring within me right now, Dear John's going to be number three. I feel like that love and sorrow is a good thing. Because when you experience heartbreak or really, really sad things, it makes you appreciate the really, really good, smiley, fun things. Like 22 Jump Street, which happens to fall in fourth place. Those are Maddie's top four. Those are her top four movies ranked by me. I would love to know your rankings of the top four. Like, if you're putting Diary of a Wimpy Kid in last, like, tell me about it. Why? Why would you do that to Roderick after what he'd already been through? Leave the guy in eyeliner alone. The fuck? Yeah, let me know that. Let me know what movies you're watching. I'm going this week to see Together, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Fantastic Four. So I should get an AMC membership, but there's not one by my house. And so just the thought of having to drive all the way out there, it pains me. But that's it for this week's video. Like and subscribe if you feel like it or don't. You know I don't care. I posted a blog today. I have another video coming sometime this week. And what's really exciting and on the agenda is the Dry Gin Martini magazine that's coming out at the end of summer. So stay tuned for her. Till next time, stay flirty, stay thirsty, stay watching movies. Watch more movies together. Make more movies together. Tell me your top four in the comments. Maybe I'll rank a subscriber's top four. It'll still be ranking best friend top four because to me you're a friend. Hope that's not weird. But yeah, that's all for me today. I think I'm gonna go put on Diary of a Wimpy Kid, fucking Roderick Rules. It's on Disney Plus. Stream it where you can. Anyway, till next time. Stay flirty, stay there. Chin chin.